Welcome back to this period in the economic cycle when everything just starts to go to hell and there's really not a hell of a lot that you can do about it, right? Macro forces come into play, inertia comes into play, and we are just on this particular ride. I don't like these time periods. I don't like the irrational exuberance, the growth when growth is stupid. I also don't like the destruction when destruction is stupid. I like those nice, what are supposed to be the normal periods of time where things make sense, where we care about ROI, where we care about TCO, when we care about the value of the products that we are creating and how that's gonna make the world a better place and bring profit and revenue into our company and all of that kind of stuff. But the big issue that you have to realize in the technology world is we go through these boom and bust cycles. And the thing is, during the boom cycle, damn near anybody with a pulse can get hired. And during the bust cycle, even the best of us get thrown out on the streets. And that's just kind of sort of how our industry goes. So right now we're going through the bust cycle, and spoiler, it's still gonna get worse. I know some of you out there, you're like, well, Eli said last year, Eli said, spoiler, it's gotta get worse. So maybe this is the worst Eli was talking about. No, my friends, no. We are nowhere near the end. We are nowhere near the end of this idiocy. Have you seen the whole thing about helium production? Yeah, I didn't think about helium production. You know how much helium comes out of the Middle East? Apparently a lot of helium comes out of the Middle East, and helium is used in order to create the CPUs and processors, a lot of the electronic devices that we use. And so now that the Strait of Hormuz is shut down, not only is oil not going out, not only is 20% of the world's natural gas not going out. Not only after the missile attacks is 9 or 10% of the world's supply of aluminum now knocked offline, but also apparently helium, which is required for a lot of these processes. That is not getting through either. So we have gas prices going through the roof. We have energy prices going through the roof. We have the supply chain shutting down. We have a psychotic piece of shit as a president of the United States. We have the Europeans who are about as clueless as normal, and that's what we're dealing with macro forces. At the exact same time, we're going through this weird AI hype cycle. Again, the AI fraud that is currently occurring, and so that is what we are dealing with. So in that world, Oracle is doing the layoffs. So we talked about this before, but now it looks like they're officially doing the layoffs. It's coming March 31st. Oracle cutting thousands in latest layoff round as company continues to ramp AI spending. Oracle has started telling employees that it's cutting thousands of jobs, CNBC has confirmed, as a software maker deals with plummeting stock price tied to a hefty capital commitments for building out AI infrastructure. Basically, they have committed to build out a hell of a lot of AI infrastructure, and investors are now questioning the validity of that path. While Oracle's core business is on the receiving end of market panic about competitive risks from generative AI models, the company is also facing pressure from investors about the amount of debt it's raising for AI investments and its dwindling cash flow. Business Insider reported on the latest cuts early on Tuesday. CNBC confirmed the cuts with two people familiar with the matter who asked not to be named. Basically, if we go down here, we take a look at this. They're thinking cutting 20,000 to 30,000 employees could lead to $8 billion to $10 billion in incremental free cash flow. Executives have said AI investments will pay off over time. Demand for AI infrastructure, both GPU and CPU, continues to exceed supply. This is directly visible in our $553 billion remaining performance obligations. So basically, the idea here is they have committed so much money to build out this AI infrastructure that the investors are scared shitless. At the exact same time, the investors are scared shitless about the amount of money that they're committing to that their own business is starting to fail because AI is now theoretically eating into the SaaS business. Again, I question the validity of that. But anyways, so their main cash cow is getting attacked from one side by investors, and their new investments are getting attacked on the other side by investors, and then basically banks and people people they would go to in order to get loans. They don't want to give loans anymore because they all know this is a fraud. It's the whole playing musical chairs on the Titanic. The banks don't want to be the last person on the Titanic when the musical chairs, when the music stops. And so basically they're running into this world where they're doing massive investments into AI without having the money to support the massive investments going to AI. So therefore, they have to get money somewhere. As I talked about before with executives, right? They have a pot of money. Out of that pot of money comes servers. Out of that pot of money comes your salary. Out of that pot of money comes toilet paper, right? All of that comes out of the pot of money. So here's the thing. If your pot of money is shrinking at the exact same times your expenses are exploding, you've got to reduce how much money you're letting go every month. And so they've decided to get rid of 20 to 30,000 employees. And again, to be clear, this is not an auto attendant moment, right? I've talked about that with auto attendants in the past, right? I was a telephone system administrator. Auto attendants were amazing 25, 30 years ago. That's where, you call a business, press 1 for sales, press 2 for service, that type of deal. You might think they're annoying, but remember, there was a full-time employee on the other side. There used to be receptionists. There used to be pools of receptionists at companies, right? You bring in an auto attendant. An auto attendant costs anywhere between $500 to about $5,000. As soon as you bring that auto attendant online, all the receptionists get fired. There is no longer a purpose for receptionists in those companies when you have an auto attendant. What I want you to understand about AI, we haven't had an auto attendant moment. We haven't had a moment where you no longer need these employees because the work is simply being done through automated tasks. Again, you look at email, right? All the mail services around the world are collapsing. Why? Because bills are being sent online, messages are being sent online, pictures are being sent online. Everybody uses email instead of snail mail. Ergo, there is simply no purpose for the employees to go around, putting mail in people's mailboxes because technology has now made that irrelevant. The important thing to look at it with artificial intelligence is we also haven't had that moment. We haven't had the auto attendant moment. We haven't had the email moment. We haven't had that moment where AI is actually eliminating jobs. We're told it's coming. We're told it's coming. It's not here yet, all right? And the fascinating thing is we're starting to see the destruction of all of these jobs based off of the idea of what AI will do. AI has not replaced you. Your company needs more money to fund AI, therefore they're going to get rid of you. This is just bad. This whole AI. Oh my God. I thought I had seen stupidity in the world of technology. This whole AI thing is just going to take this shit up to 11. So we're going to see where it goes. And again, we're going to see what happens with these companies once they fire tens of thousands of employees. What is that going to do for morale and culture in these companies? As the AI idiocy starts falling in on itself, what's that going to do for employees and the rest of it? And again, what's going to happen with these American companies? Again, that's where, there's this whole war between the United States and China, the AI war theoretically. And again, it's my frustration is I just look at it. China seems to be doing it better. You look at what China's doing and it's oh, look, they planned the work and they're working the plan. Right? Seems pretty you see what China is putting on the table. And again, you may agree with all of it or disagree with some of it, but it's okay, you kind of get the point what's going on. Again, I look at this from the American standpoint and I just don't get it. Again, OpenAI is going to be supposedly $1 trillion valuation. It's currently now at $852 billion for OpenAI. They're trying to make SpaceX a $1.7 trillion IPO because it's got XAI involved. You look at the government trying to put $500 billion into Stargate. We have all this stuff going on with AI in the U.S. tech sector. And it's all based off of fucking insanity. It's like all of these CEOs, all of these jackasses went to some Burning Man party and they snorted way too much ketamine. And now they're coming back and they're oh my God, you don't understand. when I did all this ketamine, I saw reality. And reality is we need to fire tens of thousands of my own employees. I don't know. I don't know. We're going to see what happens. And the curious thing with this too, is with all these companies, as they fire more people, that means they need fewer services. Like, I think you don't think about this a lot, but think about what this does to Office 365, right? So let's say Office 365 is $10 a month. I don't know quite what it is. Let's say it's $10 a month. So let's say Oracle, right? So everybody's using cloud services, SaaS services. So let's say Oracle is using something like Office 365. If they get rid of 30,000 employees, think about this. That's $300,000 per month in spend that gets eliminated. That's $3.6 million a year that simply gets eliminated from Microsoft's bottom line. And if Microsoft is no longer getting that $3.6 million a year, what do they stop buying? And what does the next person stop buying? And what does the next person stop buying? And again, how does that work in the whole tech ecosystem as everything kind of implodes on itself? I don't know. We're going to find out. So yeah, that's right. Oracle's getting rid of 20 to 30,000 people. Why? Because they need money. Because they desperately need money for the fraud, right? They basically had the idea, if they invest in this insane game of musical chairs now, they can get a bigger fool, right? The bigger fool theory. They can get somebody stupider than them to come in and maybe take the bag. I don't know. I don't think that's a good plan, right? That's the whole thing, like with this, like with Oracle. So like with Oracle, what is it? OpenAI apparently signed like a $300 billion contract. And that's where all this paperwork gets so stupid. So OpenAI signs a $300 billion contract with Oracle. So Oracle can now say, look, we have a $300 billion contract. But there's no guarantee that OpenAI can actually pay for that $300 billion contract. Kind of see, yeah. Anyways, what do you think about this? What do you think about Oracle getting rid of 20 to 30,000 people? What do you think about this? This is not even the end of the beginning of the stupidity, right? When you look at what's currently going on right now, this stupidity is going to keep going, and it might actually start accelerating simply because as more and more people are fired. Again, last year, Microsoft dumped 16,000 people. In the past couple of years, Intel's dumped 40,000 people. UPS has dumped 30 some odd thousand people, right? Again, a company like Block dumps 4,000 people, right? As that starts accelerating, what happens to this industry? That's where I talk about, right? When I got in the field, or I got into IT specifically back during the dot-com boom, right? And during the dot-com boom, I was a dipshit 24-year-old with a direct line to the travel department flying all over the country. I should not have had that responsibility. Here's the thing. After the dot-com bust happened, I had a college degree, I had a military, I had all of that experience, my MCSE, Cisco, all of that kind of stuff, and I couldn't get a job, right? I did not start a consulting company. I put up pull tab signs so I could buy some decent beer, right? And that was the thing. Like after the dot-com bust happened, even when companies needed employees, they refused to hire them. So yeah, I don't know. Is as it is. Is as it is. So what do you think about this? Put your thoughts down below. Do remember I do these videos in order to support Silicon Dojo, free hands-on technology education that empowers you to do whatever the hell it is you want to do here in Asheville or in Durham, North Carolina. We're having a class on, vector databases next week in Durham. If you're interested, take a look at silicondojo.com. If you want to support what I do, there's a donor box link down below. And with that, see y'all later.